lovely people, and welcome to the series Murdered While Pregnant Phenomenon. Disclaimer: my videos are for entertainment and educational purposes only. Fair Use Act disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. No copyright is intended, all rights reserved. Please note that I am merely bringing the attention to this matter and hope that those involved seek professional help from local or national professionals. Murdered while pregnant is a phenomenon that I discovered while in nursing school in the late 80s. Nearly 30 years later, this is still happening to pregnant women. Sadly, it will continue to happen as long as there is violence against women. If a woman has already been abused, the chances of that abuse continuing while pregnant is quite high. Join me in this series and share with others so that we keep the communication open in hopes of someday ending this tragic phenomenon. Thank you. Today, I present the tragic case of Cherica Adams. Imagine yourself in the shoes of an expectant mother, and the father of the baby tells you he does not want to have a child with you. He says he does not want the financial responsibility, and he feels his future is in jeopardy in having a child with someone he only intended to meet his physical needs. Imagine again, you are a woman who was already experiencing abuse but is now pregnant, and the abuse continues, and the abuser feels he has a right to abuse you. It is important to note that there are counselors, abuse hotlines, and websites that specialize in helping victims of domestic violence, and it is my prayer that women get the help that they need, as well as the abusers get the help they need. Now, the movie Fences was directed by Denzel Washington, and it was set back in the 1950s, where Denzel Washington's character is a sanitation worker who had wanted to become a baseball player. However, blacks were not allowed to play the sport back during that time, and then by the time they were allowed to play, he was too old. There's a part in the movie where Denzel Washington's character complains about the tough time he had over the 18 years and makes excuses why he cheated. Well, Viola Davis's character reminds him that she was going through the same things that he was going through, as she says, "I was right there by your side." In other words, she was saying she wanted to have love and experience the same thing that he was. And then there's Nikki Giovanni's interview with Jane Baldwin, where James was asking her some questions where they were discussing the racism and black manhood in 1971, and she said that the black man is out there faking it for everyone else, and surely he can come home and fake it for her and also his child until the child at least reaches age 18. In other words, men are willing to put on a happy face for the public and hold it in so that the public experience the good side. They can also do that for their family. If you believe hurt people, then it is not much of a stretch to realize that some women are victimized in private by men in their lives who present a cool, calm, and collected persona in public. Women deal with their own personal trauma and their abusers' unresolved trauma. We must change and create a culture where our young ladies value themselves and the men in their lives values them. It is my hope that the series brings attention to this phenomenon, change the culture that predisposes the abuse and murders. First, a few articles. A 2001 article by Ramsey says that during 1993 and 1998, there were 247 pregnancy-associated deaths. And the Center for Disease Control said that there are 1.7 deaths per 100,000 live births. Susan Green, in an article in 2017, highlighted that 4 in 10 black women experience physical violence from an intimate partner during their lifetime. A 2017 article by Michael Allison Chandler stated that homicide is now the second leading cause of death for pregnant women. Further in that article, a pregnant teacher was found in a shallow grave in Damascus, Maryland, allegedly shot and killed by her longtime boyfriend, and that shed some new light on the grim statistics that homicide is one of the top causes of death for pregnant women. A study by the Centers for Disease Control found that among injury related deaths, only car accidents were a more common cause of death for pregnant women. A 2019 article by Fino, Sankofa, and Fellow says that 22% of black women in the United States have experienced rape. 40% will experience intimate partner violence in their lifetime. And black women are killed at a higher rate than any other group of women. In 2020, a National Institute of Health research team led by Wallace stated the risk of homicide death was twice as high for women and girls during pregnancy and postpartum period compared to women and girls who were not pregnant. The author said that women's increased contact with the healthcare system during pregnancy provides clinicians with an opportunity to offer violence prevention services and interventions. The series Murdered While Pregnant Phenomena presents the case of Cherica Adams and Ray Caruth. About Cherica Adams. Cherica Adams was born in 1975 to her 17-year-old mother, Sandra Adams, and teen father, Jeff Mooney. She was 24 years old and 8 months pregnant when she was brutally murdered by contracted killers that Ray Caruth, the father of their child, hired. After spending a few years in college, Cherica worked in real estate and as an exotic dancer. Cherica and Ray met at a pool party in 1998. She was in an on and off again relationship with Caruth. Caruth says the relationship was only a sexual one. However, Cherica's mother, Sandra Adams, said Cherica believed they were in a more serious relationship than what he claims, and that Cherica immediately introduced Ray to her father, Jeff Mooney, who, by the way, passed in 2005. God rest his soul. Caruth wanted Cherica to terminate the pregnancy, to which she refused. On November the 16th, 1999, Cherica and Caruth met at a theater and watched a movie. After the movie, she followed him in her car and later dialed 911 to report what she felt happened. In Cherica's own words, Caruth stopped to allow another car to come alongside her and shoot her. The 911 operator asked where Caruth was, and Cherica said he drove off and left the scene. In other words, he left her there knowing what had just happened. The baby Chancellor Lee Adams was born with cerebral palsy due to the lack of oxygen. Cherica died December the 14th, 1999. Caruth was a 1997 draft pick for the Carolina Panthers. In January 2001, a Charlotte jury convicted Caruth of conspiring to murder Cherica Adams. 2 other men were also charged and convicted. After serving nearly 19 years, Caruth was released. Chancellor was born with obstacles, but his grandmother and medical team, in addition to his strong will, helps him champion through the many obstacles he faces with the death of his mother and his medical condition. Believe it or not, about a year before his release, Caruth penned a letter to Sandra Adams stating that he was thankful for the great job that she did raising his son, but he re-emphasized that the relationship he had with her daughter was just a casual sexual relationship. Now, I am not sure whether he gets it or not that Even though it's a casual relationship and it produces a child, you still do not have a right to take the woman's life or the child's life because you do not want to have a child with the woman. That does not mean you get to take her life. Hopefully, the message gets out there and the communication opens up more where young ladies can definitely see the danger signs. Talk to your healthcare professionals if you notice anything that's dangerous. National Domestic Violence Hotline is listed with the website. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for visiting today.